Something just unfolded that Iran never saw coming, an event so sudden and so bold that few anywhere in the world believed it would happen this soon. Without warning, a US stealth bomber pierced directly into one of the most heavily defended zones on Earth, and in only minutes, the balance of power in the Middle East shifted. This wasn't just another strike, it was a message, a test, and possibly the spark of something much larger. What comes next could reshape the future of the entire region. Welcome to Navy Secrets. The strike in one of its most daring operations in recent memory, the United States launched a high-stakes air campaign using B-2 Spirit stealth bombers. Their targets, three of Iran's most critical nuclear facilities. The bombers carried GBU-57 bunker buster bombs, massive weapons weighing over 14 tons each, designed to penetrate the earth and shatter fortified underground structures. These weapons are capable of cutting through nearly 60 meters of solid concrete, making them among the most destructive non-nuclear tools in the American arsenal. The strikes were far from random. They hit Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan, three of the most heavily guarded pillars of Iran's nuclear program. Fordo, a facility buried deep within a mountain, long believed to be impenetrable. Natanz, the largest uranium enrichment site in Iran, housing thousands of centrifuges capable of producing weapons-grade material. Isfahan, a hub of research and development focused on nuclear materials and weaponization. Together, these three facilities form the backbone of Iran's nuclear ambitions. By hitting all of them simultaneously, the US sent a thunderous message: even the most secure locations are no longer untouchable. For Washington, the mission wasn't simply about damage, it was about demonstration. Officials confirmed the goal was to delay Iran's progress, undermine its confidence, and prove that America's global reach could not be challenged. Yet what shocked experts the most wasn't only the sheer destructive power of the attack, it was the precision. A loud message: the strike was executed with surgical accuracy. Each bomb found its mark, crippling infrastructure that had taken Iran years to build. Fordo, once touted as invulnerable, was shown to be vulnerable. The GBU-57 turned the mountain into no shield at all. Natanz, the beating heart of uranium enrichment, faced devastating disruption. Thousands of centrifuges were disabled in seconds. Isfahan, the brain of nuclear research, was struck at its core, undermining the very knowledge base behind Iran's future weapons. By hitting these three locations at once, the US didn't just weaken Iran's nuclear progress, it attacked its confidence, showing Tehran that no amount of secrecy, concrete, or mountains could guarantee safety. This was more than an assault on infrastructure. It was psychological warfare, a reminder that American forces can penetrate, strike, and vanish before defenses even react. The stealth force pulling off such an operation required one of the most advanced airstrike packages ever assembled. This was not only an attack, it was a demonstration of invisible power. The B-2 Spirit bombers spearheaded the mission. With their unique flying wing design, they are virtually undetectable on radar. They carried the massive bunker busters and delivered them with pinpoint accuracy, but they didn't fly alone. Ahead of them, F-22 Raptors and F-35 Lightning II fighters provided cover, jamming radars, confusing air defense systems, and sweeping the skies of threats. Offshore, US warships equipped with the Aegis defense system offered additional protection, monitoring missile launches and ensuring no hostile response could interfere. Every aircraft and every system had a role: protection, deception, precision. Together, they formed a strike package so advanced that Iran's defenses were left blind and powerless. This wasn't just about proving America can strike. It was about proving America can strike anywhere, anytime, and without warning. These stealth fighters served not only as strike aircraft, but also as a protective shield, prepared to counter any possible threat during the mission. Off the coast, US Navy warships equipped with the advanced Aegis combat system scanned the skies with precision. Their powerful radar networks tracked every suspicious movement and stood ready to unleash defensive missile strikes if required. This sea-based security umbrella ensured the strike aircraft could operate with confidence, even deep inside hostile airspace. The operation highlighted the reality of modern joint warfare air and naval forces working together in perfect synchronization. It was a clean, decisive strike executed within hours, leaving no trace, no detection, and no American losses. Yet, even with all this overwhelming support, one final challenge remained: Iran's heavily fortified air defense systems. For years, Iran has boasted of its ability to defend its skies. The country operates Russian-made S-300 systems as well as its own domestically built Bavar 373 platforms, both designed to track and destroy incoming enemy aircraft. But during the mission, neither system managed to detect, much less respond to, the B-2 bombers and their stealth escorts. Reports indicate there were no radar alerts, no missile launches, and no resistance whatsoever. The American strike aircraft entered Iranian airspace, struck their targets, and left all without being seen. This failure revealed a significant vulnerability in Iran's defenses, especially against stealth platforms such as the B-2 Spirit, the F-22 Raptor, and the F-35 Lightning II. For years, Tehran had claimed its air defense shield was impenetrable and strong enough to protect critical nuclear sites. This mission shattered that narrative. Stealth technology, combined with real-time joint operations, gave the US complete superiority. Worse for Iran, the failure of its most advanced defensive systems struck a serious blow to its military reputation. But the mission was not just about destroying targets, it carried a larger, strategic purpose. Washington wanted the world to see a clear message: no radar, no bunker, and no defense can guarantee safety against a carefully planned US strike. Should Iran attempt to retaliate, America's response would not be gradual or cautious, it would be immediate and overwhelming. Following the bombing, US bases across the Gulf were placed on high alert. Missile defense batteries, fighter squadrons, and drones stood ready to strike or intercept within minutes. The Pentagon emphasized that any Iranian missile launches or attacks on American forces or US allies would trigger a swift and direct counterstrike. This posture is not merely defensive, it is a deterrent strategy designed to prevent escalation before it begins. American forces already stationed in the region ensured that Washington could act instantly without delay. US aircraft carriers and nearby warships were positioned to unleash precision-guided missile strikes if required. At the same time, American drones provided continuous, round-the-clock surveillance over Iranian territory, monitoring for even the smallest signs of aggression. Together, this created a closed loop of pressure and control, ensuring the battlefield remained firmly under US dominance. This readiness also reassured regional allies such as Israel and Saudi Arabia, both of whom face persistent threats from Iranian-backed militias. Any Iranian retaliation could quickly ignite a wider regional war. By establishing overwhelming preparedness, America sought not only to protect itself, but to stabilize its allies and contain the conflict before it could spiral. The strike also carried broader geopolitical weight. It was not simply a military victory, it was a global statement of strength and precision. By hitting Fordo, Natanz, and Isfahan simultaneously, the US proved that no target is beyond reach, regardless of how deep, fortified, or hidden it may be. Fordo was buried deep beneath mountains. Natanz was reinforced with layers of concrete. Yet the B-2 bomber, armed with the massive 14-ton GBU-57 bunker buster, shattered those defenses with pinpoint accuracy. The message was unmistakable. Even the most heavily protected nuclear facilities are not invulnerable to American air power. Beyond Iran, this served as a warning to other adversaries, whether North Korea, Russia, or China, that if they crossed certain red lines, the US had both the technology and the will to deliver decisive strikes. Pentagon officials described the mission as more than a tactical operation. It was a calculated message to the world. a demonstration that America's reach is global, its power unmatched, and its ability to act with speed and precision unquestionable. Deterrence is the use of force not to ignite a war, but to prevent one. By demonstrating its ability to launch long-range attacks, the United States reminds the world that it can act swiftly, decisively, and without warning. The fusion of stealth technology, advanced weaponry, and flawless execution turned this mission into more than just a strike. It became a symbol of dominance and control. Yet, while the operation displayed strength, it also stirred fierce reactions throughout the Middle East, leaving the region on edge and more unstable than before. The US strike on Iran's nuclear facilities immediately triggered a wave of political responses. Israel and Saudi Arabia openly endorsed the move, hailing it as a necessary measure to halt nuclear ambitions that threatened the region. Both nations praised Washington for decisive action where years of diplomacy had fallen short, but not all voices were supportive. Russia and China denounced the attack, warning that such unilateral actions could set off a perilous cycle of escalation. They accused the United States of destabilizing the region and called for restraint, painting Washington as reckless rather than responsible. Meanwhile, pro-Iranian factions in Iraq, Lebanon, and Syria went on high alert. Militias armed and funded by Tehran began shifting forces and preparing for a broader confrontation. At the same time, U.S. military installations across the Gulf heightened their security posture, raising readiness levels to prepare for potential retaliation. The aftermath has split the Middle East into two sharply defined camps, those standing firmly behind the United States and those rallying to Iran's side. Every move, every statement, increases the chance that a spark could ignite into full-scale conflict. Diplomats warn that even a single misstep, an accident, a miscalculation, or a misunderstood signal could unleash regional chaos with consequences that spread far beyond the Middle East. If Iran retaliates directly, the risks multiply. A strike on Israel would almost certainly provoke a sweeping Israeli counterattack, possibly targeting Hezbollah strongholds in Lebanon or Syrian infrastructure. This, in turn, could pull Hezbollah, the Houthis, and other Iranian-backed groups into a broader war. Meanwhile, American troops stationed in the Gulf remain braced for impact. Any attack on U.S. personnel or bases could trigger a powerful wave of American airstrikes, dramatically widening the conflict. Such an escalation would jeopardize vital oil routes, shake global markets, and push the world economy into turmoil. The danger doesn't end there. Russia